Hello, my name is Jaqueline Calabrese. I'm from Elgin and I recently graduated from Elgin Community College's nursing program. I am so proud to be a part of this profession that is helping so many people during this time period. And during Women's History Month, it is remarkable to understand how many women were instrumental in starting local healthcare services, as well as recognizing how many women continue to provide essential health services to people in our community. So welcome all to Celebrating Women's History, caring for the Elgin community, women in healthcare. On the main gallery wall, people will find that women played a significant role in starting healthcare services in our community. In 1870, Susan Daggett Whitford graduated from medical school. She was one of the first women physicians in the state and for many years served as Elgin's only female practitioner. In 1896, after years of Mary Peabody helping watch her neighbors' children, a group of citizens raised money to open the Elgin Children's Home Association, later named Larkin Home for Children, then the Larkin Center. In 1887, 30 women organized a women's club to establish a hospital. Henry Sherman donated a 2-story house at Channing and North Streets. The women raised money to renovate the house. It was in 1888 that the new Sherman Hospital opened. Rose Adler of Elgin led the fundraising. In 1891, it was Mrs. George P. Lord who donated $5,000 to the Women's Club for a new Sherman Hospital building at Center and Cooper. The new hospital opened in 1895. From 1869 to 1962, C. Irene Oberg served as Sherman Hospital's superintendent. With Mary Wheeler, she organized the hospital's training school for nurses in the early 1900s. Janet Geister, a graduate of the Sherman Hospital Training School for Nurses in 1910, was director of the American Nursing Association. At the time, it was the nation's largest professional women's organization. In 1902, the Association of the Franciscan Sisters of the Sacred Heart, led by Sister M. Jerome, opened St. Joseph Hospital on Prospect Street. A new building on Jefferson Street opened in 1904. St. Joseph operated a training school for nurses from 1919 to 1948. In 1909, Libby Gall established and managed Rest Haven Sanitarium that was located in Elgin for more than 40 years, providing treatment for chronically ill, mental, and convalescent patients. In the 1930s, Louise Logan was helping local families with food and funds. During the Second World War, she was in charge of the Elgin Red Cross Blood Donor Center, and she helped with many other healthcare initiatives. In 1975, Sally Brown, Rebecca Albert, and Ellen McGregor opened the Community Crisis Center. The center's mission expanded when an abused woman arrived the first week. It has sheltered women and their children fleeing domestic violence, provided counseling, and helped families facing financial crisis. In 1918, VNA, Visiting Nurses Association, began as the Aurora Child Welfare Clinic Association at the end of World War I to address healthcare needs in the area. The first nurse hired was a World War I veteran who visited families with tuberculosis, polio, and diphtheria. In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, VNA nurses made visits to everyone who needed it, even those living in boxcars by the railway. In the 1980s, the VNA of Elgin joined forces with the Aurora VNA to create the Visiting Nurse Association of Fox Valley. Today, the VNA provides comprehensive family care, including obstetrics and pediatrics, as well as dentistry, psychiatry, and counseling, optometry, mammography, and nutrition services. In 1988, the Greater Elgin Family Care Center, originally known as the Free Clinic, was founded, providing primary care services to low-income families. This much-needed primary care service relieved non-emergency visits in emergency rooms of local hospitals and helped eliminate barriers that prevented patients from accessing needed services. Today, the Greater Elgin Family Care Center has expanded to 9 permanent locations that provide medical, dental, and behavioral health to more than 53,500 patients. Dr. Victoire Lespinasse was trained in 1942 at the University of Chicago and was a founding member of the Pan American Medical Women's Alliance. Her research focused on kidney function and urological disorders, including how laminaria, type of seaweed, could be used to dilate stone-obstructed ureters. She also conducted experimental research into replacing kidney tissue that had been damaged or destroyed. Frances Placienia Valdivia was Elgin's first Hispanic nurse. She graduated from Elgin High School in 1945 and almost immediately attended nursing school. Upon completion of her nurse's training, she joined the nursing staff at St. Joseph's Hospital and was constantly on call, as she was the only Spanish-speaking nurse on staff. Mary Louise Diaz-Clark graduated from St. Edward High School in 1961 and went on to complete her medical assistant training at university. Following school, she became a medical technical assistant at St. Joseph's Hospital. Nora Miller earned her medical degree in 1951 from the University of Illinois at Chicago and set up a practice in Algonquin. She worked at both Sherman and St. Joseph hospitals and eventually became president of the medical staff at St. Joseph. Jessica Pompa Martinez graduated from St. Edward's High School in 1994 and continued her education in nurses training. Upon graduation, she began her nursing career at Sherman Hospital. In 2002, she joined the U.S. Air Force with the rank of second lieutenant, and while in the service, she continued her medical training, becoming a flight nurse. Throughout her many years working with the Air Evacuation Squad, she cared for wounded and accompanied many as they were airlifted to hospitals. Gloria Ramirez Kellenberg graduated from Larkin High School in 1972 and began business school at Elgin Community College. Shortly after, she transferred into the nursing profession. Her training continued at the University of St. Francis. Upon completion of her nursing training, she accepted positions at Sherman Hospital and was also a teacher in the U46 Health Occupational Department. She also worked at Sherman Hospital and remained there until her retirement in 2019. Hilda Ortiz Schmigdal graduated from St. Edward High School in 1953 and went on to complete her nurse's training and accepted nursing positions at the Little Angels Children's Home, Sherman Hospital, and several senior residences until her retirement in 1994. Congratulations to the 2020 Elgin Community College School of Nursing graduates. Fun fact for Women's History Month, the majority of graduating class students are women. Raquel Morales received her nurse's training and degree from Loyola University's School of Medicine and accepted a permanent position at Rush Hospital. Due to recent medical needs due to COVID, she is currently assisting COVID patients at the University of Illinois. As we walk through the Center Rotunda area, we can see the many women like Elisa Lara of VNA, Yashira Allegria of Greater Elgin Family Care Center, and more wonderful nurses from Greater Elgin Family Care Center who are still on the front lines assisting people during this pandemic. You will also find some information about where you can find the latest COVID-19 and vaccination information. Before you leave the exhibit, please see the many women who were honored by the YWCA for the past 37 years at its annual Women's Luncheon. The YWCA Elgin has honored women who have made a difference in a variety of fields such as arts, public service, racial justice, and education. Many of these portraits were taken by Ruben R. Ramos Photography and Interesting Developments Photography. Also, stop by and see some of these wonderful health artifacts from Sherman Hospital, the cap, cape, and pictures of early graduates on loan from the Elgin History Museum. Thanks for visiting this exhibit virtually. Thanks again to all the medical professionals who have provided essential care during this challenging time. You have certainly made such a huge difference for people in this community. For more information about this exhibit and programs, please visit www.gailborden.info/womenshistory.